Welcome back to Mitch 3D. Today, I wanted to do something more of a tutorial. I noticed that Joel, the 3D printing nerd, and Jerry, the Barnacles Nerdgasm, both of their channels, they did a video about their tracer gun from Overwatch. So I've been playing Tracer recently and playing the Overwatch game, and it's pretty fun. So I thought this would be a fun little print to do. Problem is I have two printers, but the one printer I want to print it on, which is my SeeMeCNC Eris, is only has about a 80 to 90 millimeter effective build area. So a lot of these parts are too big for printing, but a lot of the small parts I could probably print individually. There's some tricky parts like this very tall print here. So I'm going to probably add a brim to that, and the main things are the rack and the grip. So what I'm going to do is show you how I do it. I go into Meshmixer, and this is a free program by Autodesk. It's very easy to use. So I go into, I think it's this part is the grip. Nope. Replace it. This is here's the grip. Okay. So you can see there's three parts, and it's going to use a lot of support material under here, and probably under here. So, but that's probably the most efficient way to place it, because there's not really any other flat spots because it's slightly curved. So what I'm going to do is go over to Edit, and then Plane Cut. And I use Plane Cut because it does a pretty good job, and it's effectively what I can also do in NetFab. But I find that MeshLab does a better job. So I'm going to go Plane Cut, and I'm going to keep both sides, so it keeps both sides of the cut. And I haven't tried both of these, but I just leave the default remeshed fill and click accept, and you'll see nothing really happens. So what they actually do is you go separate shells, and it shows your two shells. So we're going to take this shell, and then we're going to do another plane cut. This time I'm going to do it, if you do this it snaps to it, but I'm going to do it at a 90-degree angle vertically, and I want to cut roughly in the center of this peak here, some place that would be easy to glue afterwards. Okay. Then we again keep both sides. Accept. Separate shells. And so you can see I have my three parts that I'm going to print. So to save them, I'm going to do File, Export, and I already have the white part, the rack part separated. So this is going to be body 1. That's in black. I'm probably not going to separate the colors. I'm probably just going to paint them for this part. We'll take a second and do that. We'll click this one again, File, Export. Just change the number. Now we'll do this one, File, Export, and change the number. Okay, so we saved these three shells, so we go into Meshmixer, or Simplified 3D, I'm sorry, and then we go Import, and you'll see our three parts. So I'll click one of them, and as you can see, our slice model is imported with the trigger intact. So this is a very large object for the Eris to print. But we still have a lot of vertical space. Unfortunately, it's harder to use vertical space than it is to use horizontal space. So I'm probably going to auto-generate supports. And it's going to put supports in these weird places, so that I don't really need them. So I'm going to remove these supports. I don't need them there. Remove these. The supports come off really easily. I don't really know why it needs support there, but I think there's a little lip. But most of it's going to be support on this underside right here. But again, I don't know how well this actually works. I don't think we need a lip. I think automatic cooling would probably help. I mean, the fan's always on, so it's going to cool the PLA. But I'll probably leave those parts on. Cool. So we're done. And I'll show you what the other parts look like. And obviously we're not going to be able to arrange all of them, but you could go edit, center, and arrange models. And it will try to arrange them all. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be beyond its effective build area, and then it's just basically going to cut off the part of it. Unfortunately, I don't know how Simplify actually detects that it's going to be cut off or not, but this is not the effective build area. I think it's actually done in firmware where it cuts it off, but I've had it where it just stops G-code altogether, or it stops the print altogether. It just skips a bunch of G-code when it hits its actual limits in the firmware. And the other problem is this would actually take a really long time, and I can't guarantee that it would work. So I'm going to remove everything but the one part, and we're going to just take it nice and steady and print this one part. So we're going to prepare to print. And you see it's going to take about 3, almost 4 hours. That sounds about realistic. I started printing it before it failed, and it would probably take around that time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click print here. Prepare for printing. While it's preparing, I'll actually show you the settings I use. So Chapman, he has his YouTube channel, which I'll put in the description. He actually has an Eris, and he has been updating the settings for the Eris. I had to increase the layer height by 200% because the first layers are really low using auto calibration. So I'm not quite sure what's that about. Everything else he set up for me, I'm using his default temperatures, which are 225 and 220, and that's for PLA. I'm not quite sure why that's doing that, but I wish I could print lower, but every time I print lower, it just under extrudes, and it becomes really brittle. So as you can see, it's he set the build area to be kind of larger than I would set it to, because the actual build plate is 125, but when you actually take the square of the circle, it's about 86, or roughly like 80, like I think 89 point something, but it's slightly smaller than 105. I'm not sure if I need to change that or not, but the other settings are pretty standard for PLA. So I go back to printing. Of course, there we go. It's gonna. What's cool is they set custom G code to actually extrude a little bit before it prints to clear the head, which it's doing right now. And then we'll just watch it. So hope this was kind of useful to you guys. I'll try to print finished pictures, put finished pictures on, or do a follow-up video of my Overwatch build. I don't have a webcam set up for streaming yet, but I'll try to get something going pretty soon. But I just hope that little Meshmixer tip went through and it would help you, and especially if you have a cheaper printer that has smaller build area, I think this video will help you. Thank you.